Your Honour, on the 9th of October, I was nowhere near St John's Primary School. Attention, please. Your Honour, on the 9th of October, I was nowhere near St John's Primary School.
Why? That noise. Fuming. Mum, you should call it. Oh, this is horrendous.
For anyone who doesn't know, I'm Mark Faye's dad. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody to being here today to celebrate the manager. The marriage of Oliver and Faye. Faye, you look beautiful. I couldn't be any prouder. When you were younger, we never thought we'd get you out of a football kit.
Let me see it.
That must have been to do with you, so Arsenal. What's she doing in that? She's a good girl. Right. You can see the picture now, can't you? But you've grown up to be mature.
Oh, no.
And a sensible young lady.
Where did you get that from? I don't know. Is that you? Giving him one? No.
No, but seriously, me and your mum can be more grateful to have a daughter like you.
Hey, hey.
Mum, what are you doing?
So if anyone deserves to have a long, happy marriage, it's you. So when you find the right guy... No, we love Oliver. He loves Faye. And we're proud to have him in the family. Especially as he's given us our first grandson.
Who's that then?
Oh no, and that's it. That's it. Congratulations. If we all raise a glass to Queen Oliver.
Oh, Christ almighty.
Well done.
Right, okay.
Oh, the microphone.
It's time for me to speak now, so, keep it down. Okay, okay, mother. Right, seriously though. On behalf of my wife and I, we would like to thank you all for making the trip and celebrating this very special day with us. I've got a few special mentions before we get into the main bulk of the speech. So, first of all, I just want to thank my groomsmen, Lee, Luke, Anthony, Matthew, Thomas, and obviously my best man. Best man, Frank. I've got his hair. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'd also like to thank the beautiful bridesmaids. I'm sure Faye couldn't have done this without them. Honestly, and you all, honestly, you really do all look amazing. Snowy, Steph, Katie, Beth, and Olivia. Olivia, being the bridesmaid of honour, came to the rescue today and did all the hair for the bridesmaids because we got let down by them. Really, really big round of applause for all of you. I also want to thank my Uncle Donald and Auntie Pam. They came all the way from Kentucky to be here, a long way, especially during all this pandemic crap. Really Of course, thank you to Faye's mum and dad, Maxine and Mark, for everything you've done. Thank you, Mark, for giving Faye away. Maybe a bit too readily give her away, but I appreciate that anyway, and I really do appreciate it. By the way, it's Maxine's birthday tomorrow, so just want to raise a glass to Maxine. Happy birthday, Maxine, for tomorrow.
Leave no donations at the door.
It's also my Uncle Sean's and Auntie Janine's daughter's birthday today, Erin. She's 1 year old today. So happy birthday, Erin. I'm really happy. And obviously, last but not least, my mother and father, Bill and Sandra. I want to really, really thank them and deep down thank them for creating such a perfect and brilliant son. It's honestly, we all appreciate it. Thank you. But no, seriously, thank you for everything you've done for the wedding. We all know we couldn't have done it without you. We're here today partly because my mum and dad helping us out and getting us through the gates for this, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
What about me?
You contributed. So, right, the speech. So we chose this beautiful venue, Pendrell Hall in Wolverhampton, for two reasons. One was to deter you all from coming. But here you all are. No, I'm joking. The actual reason we like Wolverhampton, obviously the place is beautiful. It was our dream venue, but we come to a festival here every year called the WV1 Festival. It's a tribute band festival of Queen. Absolutely amazing. We come here every year. I was also stationed in Stafford in the military just around the corner, so I lived here for about 2 years. So that's why we're here, and that's why I appreciate if anyone was wondering. So 4 years ago today, or 4 years ago, almost to the day, Faye asked me out at the Quarry Bank Inn.
No, I didn't.
Can I say that
No.
he asked her out and that's wrong?
No, you can't.
Faye was working at the working as a barmaid, and we had a special connection from the very first day we met. I would joke to her and say, "Faye, will you step into my office?" And thankfully, she eventually did. As you all might know, I call Faye on the seal. This is because whenever I ever did anything nice for her at the start of the relationship, she'd pull a silly face like this. She'd pull a face like this, which I thought looked like a seal. So I called her that, and the name stuck ever since, and I love it, and that's why the seal's everywhere. So for Faye's 21st birthday, we flew to Canada, where we went on beautiful cruises in Toronto Lakes. We visited Niagara Falls. We spent time in the Buckhorn countryside with mate Vicky and Beastie. It was really romantic and a really amazing place that we went to. On our last day, we ran out of money. And we had 12 hours before the flight. So we thought it would be a clever idea to walk 12 miles to the airport using Google Maps. And we did. Some 5 or 6 hours later, we arrived at the airport where the wheels on our bags had completely worn away. And we were suffering so badly from cramp and chafe, rub, that we could hardly sit down, which made for one of the most horrendous 10-hour flights we ever experienced in our lives. But I won't take it back for the world, because the memories that we got from that were amazing, and it was one of the most amazing places we went to in the world. It was incredible. I truly believe that Canada was the place that made me realise I wanted to spend the rest of my life with Faye. Not long after that, my brother's 30th birthday, I proposed to Faye with a strawberry on, as a ring, and she said yes. Obviously, the next day we took her to the Trafford Centre, where I did it again in the ring shop. I know that was mentioned on the celebrant. I didn't know she was going to mention that. She ruined half my speech, but I have to say it again. So, Faye, you look absolutely amazing in your dress. I can't believe, actually, how unbelievable you look. I was shocked when I saw you, and even now, you are beautiful. You're radiant, and more seal-like than you've ever been.
We know what you mean.
Honestly, amazing. Your feisty and powerful nature that I imagine you get from your mother, and sometimes does me head in, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Faye, I'm so proud of you for everything that you do, and still do, especially for picking me as your husband. You look after me, you nurse me back to health when I'm sick, and you always go out your way to make sure everyone around you is happy. You always have the best moves on the dance floor as well. Which you can make up for later on our first dance. I love you more now than I ever have. I will dedicate the rest of my life to growing that love for you. I just want to raise a glass, just a generic raise to health, happiness and love. Health, happiness and love, everyone.
Health, happiness, and
Listen, I could go on all night, but instead I'm going to leave that to my cabbage of a best man, Frank. So, can I please ask you to welcome the man that needs no introduction? But I'll do it anyway. My best man, Frank Howard Collins. It's all right, don't worry. No, I want to hear this.
As could all see today with the seat arrangements earlier. And I'll be honest, today is no different,
Louder, Frank.
because I've got nothing. Sorry, mate. That's why you get being proud of your life.
Oh, it's okay, Frank, don't worry.
That's all right.
No.
What we're doing?
To be honest, this is my second time preparing for this. I mellowed it down a fair bit, as I didn't want Oliver sulking for the rest of the day. That, and I've got my wedding only to come, so I'd only retaliate. So, I've handed somebody on every table an envelope to hand round. If it hasn't been handed round already, I can see there's a lot up. Now's a good time to pass them round. Those ones, yeah, that's my handiwork, that. They say a picture speaks 1,000 words, which makes my job a whole lot easier today. Now, starting from the top, we have young Oliver, who unfortunately for him, being a year younger and having a seriously bad taste in glasses, he was asking for a bullion. So the likes of me, Danny, Anne and Lee, as good friends we all were back then, we were more than happy to oblige. Now, joking aside, Oliver, I know it's been a few years since then, but yeah, sorry about that, mate.
It's all right, yeah, don't worry about it.
But yeah, he got his revenge on me when I first went round to his house. Now, by this point, he had already told Bill and Sandra all the crap that I'd been giving him. So from the moment I stepped through that door, Bill, from his armchair, stood up, walked over to me, and without even saying a hello, questioned whether I thought bullying his son was a good idea. Now, being a bit smaller than Maxwell at the time, I, of course, apologised profusely and agreed to whatever terms that was given. So, from that day forth, the bullying obviously stopped, and I had to call these two, Mr. and Mrs. Dutton, every single time I'd have a conversation. Being a fly on the wall, that household was eventful. From the constant parties and barbecues to the routine infighting between all this lot. Sandra, even though being the only woman in the house, she definitely pulled the strings. I'd always hear a battle to try and keep the house in check, but they'd always fight back. Not to mention that myself or any of the other usuals got away scot-free either. Me and Oliver would never call it a bromance, but through school, hobbies, and other nefarious activities, I ain't going to elaborate on here today. We did spend a seriously unhealthy amount of time together. But that all came to a stop when Oliver got the call to go to Afghanistan, resulting in me and Oliver at his leaving do in the Orange Tree pub whilst dancing to Bob Marley's tune of Is This Love, blubbering in each other's arms.
I never have.
I know. I got the picture of Oliver half naked on there. Not because of a bromance that went too far, but because I'm sure I heard him promising Faye that he was going to shape himself up ready for this event. I'm sure we can all agree. Oliver, you ain't made the cut, mate.
Tried.
I wasn't round too much when Oliver and Faye first met, but from what I was told, Oliver would insist Faye would serve him at the bar when she worked at the local. He would then later prowl outside, waiting for her to finish for his shift. It's the kind of thing you'd hear a restraining order given out for. But as we can see here, that's the kind of crazy antics that wooed our Faye over here. Having gotten to know Faye over the recent years, sorry,
Calm down, Frank.
I can vouch she certainly knows how to stand on her own 2 feet and doesn't back down when dealing with Oliver, a quality trait when being part of this Dutton ecosystem. She's also very well organised, having helped organise the only part of my engagement that went to plan. And she's more trusting than most. A couple of years back, Oliver came to my grand's funeral down in Devon, thinking it would be a free bar by the end of it. All that was left. But all I was left was free tea and sandwiches. He wasn't happy, were you, mate?
I was not. Highly disappointed.
Yeah. It all happened around the time that beastly snowstorm kicked in. Bit more mellow than what we've had here today, anyway. Well, stronger than what we've had here today. So with everyone panicking, trying to escape the place, Oliver found his excuse to exit. My Melissa had work in a couple of days, so she followed suit with the kids. But they didn't get far. They got stuck at the bottom of the hill with a bunch of other cars. By this point, I had made it back to the farmhouse, which was slippy as anything, and I could see the snow building up. Cheers. Meanwhile, Oliver Googled a hotel that was a mile up over the hill where he was stuck down. So with the rest of my lot behind, Oliver pushed my Amelia in a pram up over the hill to the hotel. The end result being he was now in a 5-star hotel for 2 nights, fully catered, full of entertainment. Was I was stuck at a cold farmhouse with stale sausage rolls for days.
I claimed it back on my insurance.
With your woman.
I say Faye. I say Faye's more trusting than most because, like me, there's nobody else I trust to share a room with my Melissa in a 5-star hotel for a cold, chilly winter's night.
Mel?
I'm just saying, Faye, if you fancy a breakaway sometime, we could try testing there.
Trust you cold back.
Now, one of the quality Dutton traits that's been passed over is the constant barbecues. That's gotten us all to get to meet each other. We all do it for one reason, and it's probably the same reason why we're all here today. It'd be rude to turn down a free meal.
Just you, Frank.
Oh yeah. If there's any spares going, I'm sat just there, just so you know. Faye, as you already know, you've got your hands full dealing with this family.
What's she trying to say?
You're big lads.
But I can honestly say, through my years of knowing him, you'll never have a dull moment, and you'll be always looked after, through thick and thin.
Ah.
Oh, come on. What kiss?
So can I ask everybody to raise a glass?
I'm the upstander. I'm the upstander. I'm the upstander.
You may as well, wherever you fancy. So I'm paying Oliver.